It's the new year. No doubt you've made some resolutions, but will you stick to them? Every year, millions of people resolve to do better, be better, and improve their overall health. But so many of us quit before we actually see change. Our Jolene DeRosier joins us with more on what we need to do to ensure our resolutions come to fruition, so we see actual results. Happy New Year, Jolene.
Happy New Year to you, Stefan. It's here, it's winter, and this is the time of year, as you said, that folks make resolutions. Maybe you've made some, I've made some, but did you know that a large percentage of those who make resolutions won't be able to keep them? And there's a really good reason why. And just understand, it's not about extra exercise, it's not about counting calories. What it is about is counting on your mind. Raise your hand if you've made a New Year's resolution this year. Now raise your hand if you know it's a resolution you want to keep but may struggle to see it through. Aww. Studies show that roughly 80% of those who make them break them. Those who are successful have what registered psychotherapist Jack LaFleur calls an awareness muscle.
But then you also get some people who are also into developing what I call this awareness muscle. And that also enables people to develop emotional intelligence. There's all kinds of other intelligences that the people that we're talking about, those people who are able to follow through and carry through with change and bring about change in their lives, these are the people who have somewhere, somehow been able to master how to overcome fear, how to see it for what it is, as not the truth, but just part of their conditioning, and therefore able to move through it.
Sounds reasonable, but how does one move through fear into the space of emotional intelligence in order to conquer change? Before we answer that, let's take a peek at the top 10 resolutions Canadians and Americans made this year. Eat healthier, get more sleep, learn something new, be more active, improve financial habits, meet new people, choose kindness, life balance, be responsible, and don't take life too seriously. Every single one of these goals requires emotional intelligence in order to come to fruition. But emotional intelligence is something not all of us have fully developed. And being afraid of change doesn't help either. So there's that.
Change can be threatening. So we essentially have to be able to embrace the fear, right, and see it for what it is. And most of the time it is past conditioning. Past conditioning from childhood, adolescence, those are generally they're maladaptive thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, usually on the side of I'm deficient, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, who am I to step out of my comfort zone, who am I to, take a big leap and bring about change in my life. Those are that's the kind of conditioning that creates fear, self-doubt, and that hold people back.
Why, in your professional opinion, do folks wait for the new year to make change? It can be done anytime.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say the reason why people wait for this cultural landmark, right, is that most people don't like change. I would say most people are just as afraid of it as people want it. So people want change, but they fear it at the same time.
LaFleur boils it down to what are known as ego states. 3 different states that are constantly fluctuating in accordance with our mental states, which means we regularly shift in and out of them. They are adult consciousness, the adaptive child, and the wounded child. Simply put, one cannot make change if they are trapped within the limitations of the adaptive or wounded child. These 2 states are often triggered by past trauma and force us to live in the past. But we can shift out of these fragile states and back into adult consciousness not by simply resolving to change, but by putting into action 3 different things that can help significantly.
And it's the patterns that get us into trouble. It's the patterns that get us to sabotage and regress, right? So the things that we need, would be really good for us to include in our lives, the first thing I would say is mindfulness meditation is a great tool. That's number one. Number two is finding yourself someone who can keep you accountable. We all need those reminders. We all need mentoring. And the next one that I give a lot of my clients is what we call the SMART criteria, meaning specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. It breaks it down because, of course, change can be overwhelming if we're taking that on. So that is a great system that allows people to kind of move towards their goals and their change at a pace that they can handle. I find that as the more people work with awareness and really consciously work to develop that muscle, the adaptive child, the wounded child, these are ego states that have less impact, less negative impact in the adult's everyday life.
Change isn't always easy, but it's possible with patience, accountability, and the desire to want more for the adult in us. For WPBS Weekly, I'm Jolene DeRosier.